What's up, everybody? It's jMac14 here. Welcome back to another jVlog with my thoughts on the PC gaming show. I decided not to do a J-Reacts to it just because it was typically with a PC gaming show, there's a lot of interviews and stuff like that in there. So I just decided just to watch the show, write down what I liked, and then grab trailers, use speed footage, and just give my thoughts on it. That way the video could be a little bit shorter as well. Okay, so before we get into it, answer two questions. One, why do I watch the PC gaming show when I don't quote unquote own a PC? Because you're a Mac gamer, J-Mac. Well, just to let you know, Apple computers, Macs, along with Linux machines are all PCs. Okay, it's not just for Windows. I know it's typically used just for Windows. That's why I call them Windows machines and not PCs. So sometimes you get some announcements that are made for Mac. The other reason is because sometimes games get announced in other presentations, and like for example the Xbox Bethesda one, and you're wondering if it's going to be on any other system, so you watch one of the other presentations and you find out it's on other systems, which is one of the games that's on the list on here. So sometimes you find out things not only are for Windows, Mac, Linux, you also find out that they're on consoles as well. So that's why I watch all the presentations that kind of interest me to see what's going on, see if it's going to announce anything like that. So just to get that out of the way. Also, the other thing is, it's not everything that's on the show, because there was a good amount of stuff that was on the show. This is basically the stuff that interests me personally. So kick things off, the PC gaming show starts, and then they kicked it off with actually 3 in a row really good games that interest me. So the first game that they showed was a game I actually knew about. I've actually already wishlisted on Steam before this, but this is like the official announcement and release date. Is Solstice, which is a really cool action-y combat type of game. We found out a date for it, which is going to be September the 20th of this year, and we also found out it's actually going to be on console too, and it's going to be on PS5, which is really cool. When eventually I get PS5, I'll be able to play it. So that was the first game that was announced. And I was kind of like, oh, this is how we're starting it. This is pretty cool. Then the next game was a game from Klein, the same people that make Don't Starve, and they're making this game, which I looked up on Steam, is labeled as an action roguelike hack and slash beat 'em up. And as you can see, the art style looks great, the gameplay looks great, and it's called Rotwood. No telling when it's going to come out, because they were just like, it may come out next year or maybe the year after that, or we don't really know. So it's going to be in early access soon, basically. Platform wise, we don't really know. So that was the second game. Then we moved to the third game that was in a row, which was a literally called Tactical Breach Wizards. Which you look at that and you're like, what? So it's a tactical base game about breaching in the rooms, and it's kind of got a XCOM vibe to it, but it also has like magic stuff in there, because you can like rewind stuff if you messed up, and there's magic and things like that in there. So that was pretty interesting. I looked it up and I didn't really see, like, except for the fact that it's like on Steam and it's going to be available for Windows, if it's going to be like console or anything else on it, or release date wise. So but that was the third announcement. So that was 3 in a row that we had right there. And then the next game that was interested me was Endless Dungeon, which I also have already wishlisted on Steam. But this was the announcement to give us this was the announcement for the beta sign up, so that way we could give feedback and everything with it, and you actually play the game, and we actually got to see some gameplay footage of it as well. So you can actually go to the website now and actually sign up for the beta of Endless Dungeon now, which is pretty cool. And then the next game that was some interest in me was this game called Deceived Inc. So basically it's a spy PvP type of game where there's a target that everybody's trying to go after, and there's ways for you to have like decoys and set traps, and you have guns and there's loot and all kind of stuff like that. So at first I was like, I don't know what this is, but as we watched the gameplay of it, like more and more I'm just like, this is actually kind of cool. It's a different way to do a game, like first person kind of combat game, that's PvP. This is used like a spy element to it. And as far as platforms are concerned, it's going to be out for PS5, so that's cool. So if you ever get a PS5 and I'm interested in this game, you can play it then. So that was Deceiving. Then we got the trailer to a game called Flintlock, which we actually saw with the Xbox Bethesda showcase, but of course they said it was Windows and Xbox systems. But see, this is why we watch the other stuff. At the end of this trailer, which is the same trailer they had before, we still get to watch it again. We found out it's also going to be for PS4 and for PS5. So see, that's why you watch the other showcases. So now the game was interesting to me when I watched it during the Xbox conference. Now I know I can play it on the PS4 if I wanted to. So that was another game right there. And then we got a reveal trailer from the people who made, for the people that made This War Is Mine, and they also made Frostpunk and Children of Morta. It's their new game that they have out there. It's called The Altars. And basically, it's supposed to be a survival type game, but with the trailer we watched, once we moved into it a little bit more, we found out that there are multiple. We found out there's like multiple versions of yourself, and you have to use the multiple different alternates of yourself to get yourself back home. And you're in this really weird, like, wheel that your home base is in, or something like that. So I wrote it down because it was like really interesting. As far as like platforms and stuff, nothing's really been announced yet. So, but I would look out for this game, since the other games that this company has made have been very, very good. So, and then we got an update to Potion Craft. They announced that they're going to be leaving early access soon, but still no word if we're going to have a Mac version of it. It is from Tiny Build. Sometimes Tiny Build does have Mac releases, but most of the time, lately at least, it's been Windows only. But they did announce there's going to be new ingredients, and additional new characters, new classes, new recipes, all of that when it releases and stuff. So then we ran across this kind of 80s style kind of game called Nitro Kid, which has a really good opening animation to it, and it's a very interesting game as well. It's supposed to be it's listed as a roguelike deck builder 1980s game, so be interesting to check that out. It's also by Tiny Build as well, so as far as the Mac release, it's 50-50, so, but still looks pretty cool. Then we got a game that to me looked a lot like Armello, if you know that game, which is kind of like a board, almost like a virtual board game that you play, but on Steam it's listed as a turn-based tactics card game, card battler, even though it looks like you're like on an actual game board, but it still looks really, really cool. This one's only listed as being on Steam for Windows at the moment, but of course it's still very, very early, so you never can tell. But the art looks cool, the style of it looks cool, so I hope that it doesn't have a Mac release. Maybe it might have a console release or something. So I would try to pronounce the name. There it is right there, but I'm not even going to try to attempt that. So. And then we were told that we were going to get a Persona-like indie game. And so I was like, I don't really play Persona, but that does sound kind of interesting. It's called Demon School. And this is a game that actually is going to be out for both Mac and Linux, as long as it's being out for Windows. It's going to be available next year. They list it as a new style tactics RPG. It looks like it's got the same kind of mechanics like it does in Persona, where it has like a keeping track of the weeks and day and night cycles and things like that. So as far as system requirements though, for the Mac though, it runs the newest operating system that's out right now as I'm recording this, which is Monterey. Wouldn't be able to play it because I'm on Mojave. The reason why is because it's the last Mac operating system that can play both 32-bit and 64-bit applications. So that's why I'm still on that operating system, because I still have some games that run off of 32-bit. So, but maybe this might come out on console as well, or I'll find some other way around it. If I finally get a M1 system, maybe this would run off an M1 chip. So, but who knows? But it looks really cool. Then the next thing that came up that was kind of interesting to me is from a company called New Blood. It was basically a trailer for a list of games that they have coming out. A lot of them are what some people call boomer shooters. You know, the kind of games we used to have back in the day, like Doom and Hexen and Heretic and Quake and stuff like that. So, like, there's a game called Ultra Kill that's in here, and a game called Fallen Aces, which looks pretty interesting with the animation that has. It's got they're doing a Dusk HD version apparently, and so at the end of this, they also showed off gameplay of a new game called Gloomwood, which it basically looks pretty old school to me, at least with the textures and everything. But I think some people are kind of hyped about this. We found out that's going to be going early access to August 16th. So that was the New Blood trailer presentation right there. And then the last thing that kind of came up that was at least a little bit interesting to me, was the last thing that they did, for me at least, was there's going to be a version 3 of Fighting Herds. If you didn't know, actually, you can play Fighting Herds on Mac. It's one of the very few fighting games on Steam you can play. Them Fighting Herds, along with Skullgirls, and also if you want a platform fighter, it's kind of more, you know, Super Smash Brothers Melee. You can also play Brawlhalla on the Mac as well. But yep, them Fighting Herds is getting an update. So that was basically the last thing. There was other things on here that was, for some people, it was hyped. Like, we saw and heard a lot more about Frost Giant's new RTS game that they're doing, and there was also some other games that was on there that at the time I was watching one of the streamers on Twitch watch it, and they were kind of hyped about, but I was like, oh, that's cool, but I'm not really into it. But for me, that was everything that interests me in the PC gaming show. So that's it. And all in all, PC gaming show was pretty cool, pretty good. Of course, it's longer because they actually have interviews and ask questions on certain games and stuff, so that way you know a little bit more about certain games. Sometimes it can drag on a little bit for some people. That's just because they're used to presentations like what Sony does, where it's just like trailer after trailer after trailer. So, but PC gaming show has always been this way. So, but there you go. That's my thoughts. That's what I liked about the PC gaming show. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the subscribe button, follow the channel, so that way you can stay up to date with all the videos I put out. Hit the like button on this video, so that way we can mess with the algorithm here on YouTube. If you think somebody else might like this video to watch, hit the share button, share it. I have the link to all of my social media down below. I'm mainly on Twitter, Instagram. I've been putting stuff on TikTok. I do have a TikTok as well to put up certain clips from games on there, and they should be up on the screen. And I'll see you for another video. Hope you have a great day, and as always, keep gaming.